Live from the Panera Studios, it's the Reading with Robin show, brought to you each week by my friends at Panera Bread, where their Pink Ribbon Bagel campaign just started to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You can support local breast cancer charities just by purchasing a Pink Ribbon Bagel throughout October. So go to your local Panera Bread and support this amazing campaign with the Pink Ribbon Bagel all throughout October. Panera is my favorite place to stop by for a cup of coffee, hang out with friends, and it's a great place for book clubs to meet. It's all at Panera Bread. And now, enjoy the show. I am so excited to share this gorgeous cookbook. It's called V Street, 100 Globe-Hopping Plates on the Cutting Edge of Vegetable Cooking. On the phone with me, the authors, Rich Landau and Kate Jacoby, are the husband and wife chefs and owners of Veg, a vegetable restaurant that opened in 2011 to rave reviews from diners and critics alike, and V Street, a street food bar where vegetables remain the center of the dish. There is so much to say, but I just want to talk about this gorgeous cookbook. Speaking to them from Philadelphia, welcome to Reading with Robin, Kate and Rich.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, it was real fun getting to chat with you before the show. I love the before the show, which sometimes can be quite a before the show, and the after show, not to get you nervous, can also tend to go on because the podcasts are a certain amount of time, but there's so much to talk about. And this cookbook, which just came out a few weeks ago by William Morrow, is just, I want to eat this cookbook. It is just gorgeous and beautiful, and as a vegetarian or vegan, I'm happy to eat either way. It's just overwhelming, growing up as a vegetarian, and there were limited choices, so it was kind of like you take whatever the most, likable, likely thing to pick on a menu. It was easy.
Mm-hmm.
But go to
elimination.
Right, like, okay, I'll have the salad. Just
exactly.
give me the lettuce. But to see the way vegetarian, vegan food has just proliferated, and people are so willing to try different things, and they don't even know what they're eating half the time. It is amazing to see what you can do, and it's so creative. But V Street, and reading about it, and I can't wait to get there. The idea of the street food and what's on trend and how we manage to incorporate all of this into our eating and just enjoying. This book is such a celebration of all of that. So congratulations on this fabulousness.
We've been delighted with the response. Go ahead, Rich.
I was just going to say that, people, they've really been loving it. It's the photography in this book is just absolutely top-notch. Mm-hmm. And, my theory about cookbooks is, and you're talking to someone who really doesn't use cookbooks, and I've never really had any. I own a few that are like these kind of, sentimental, kind of like, you dive into it and, it just kind of warms you up. And I think that's the beauty of a great cookbook, that it talks to you. It's something very personal. You get taken in by the pictures, and then you read the stories, and then you create this connection with the authors, and the book becomes kind of part of you. And you're now using it not just to cook, but it's kind of just like your friend. And I've got like 3 cookbooks on my shelf here that are kind of like that for me, that I just pick up and read, and I connect with what got me excited about food in the first place. And I think this book really has that potential because of the stories and because of the beautiful photography. And the recipes are so fun. There are things you've heard of and never thought of doing it that way, and there's other things you've never heard of that are so simple and so delicious that they're really going to speak to you.
Well, I've never heard of blackberry. I don't know how to pronounce the sweet corn ice cream.
And the blackberry granita.
Yeah, I thought to myself, I'm only going to talk about the things I can pronounce. But here I go.
Dive right into it.
Because who would think of this? But it looks so delicious with the pomegranates. I mean, it is beautiful. Or those Azuki beans. I don't know. Maybe those.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Right. And it is. But I think what you're saying, Rich, too, is I love cookbooks for the stories. They're on my bookshelves with my books, and
exactly.
It all blends together. And this is your 4th one. So you've written Horizons, the cookbook, and then the new vegan cuisine, and then Veg. And I love that VEDGE. That's so cool. So this is your fourth cookbook, and that one of our favorite questions we ask each other is, what will be the next big food trend? And just when we think, I mean, what else can be, what can they keep coming up with? People are so creative, and nobody like a chef, with creativity. It's just out of this world. So then, of course, I'm thinking, I wonder what they think the next big food trend will be. So looking into your crystal ball, what's coming up?
Well, we were talking about Southern food last night. Southern food is not the most vegan or vegetarian friendly right now, but what's happening down in Charleston, which is just amazing. I mean, geographically, it's got this amazing growing climate down there. The produce is top-notch, unbelievable. They have a really short winter, which is beautiful, so a lot of people have a great quality of life down there. And great grains, the rice, the grits, the corn, everything. Just a wonderful place to be in it from a culinary standpoint. And the restaurants down there are just killing it. They're getting really creative, really local. I'm waiting for them to get really veg-friendly. That, I think, is the next big thing of taking this great tradition of Southern cooking and lighten it up a little bit, make it a little bit healthier, make it a little bit more approachable to people up here in the Northeast too. I was telling someone the other day that the food in New Orleans, it's delicious, but it's so heavy, and it really drops you like a log just because, up here, like in the New York and New England and Philadelphia, D.C. area, when we do eat Cajun food, it's lightened up for us. A lot of people don't realize this, but we eat a much lighter version of this otherwise very heavy food. That's what I'm waiting for is the next big thing, for Southern food to make its way up to the North mainstream here and become a little bit lighter and much more vegan friendly, because those flavors are sensational.
I like that. And it is about the flavor and really tying that into the way we cook today, the way we live today. And as I'm talking to you, I'm on the phone with Rich Landau and Kate Jacoby and their gorgeous cookbook, V Street, Globe-Hopping Plates on the Cutting Edge of Vegetable Cooking, 100 of them, I should say. You can find them on vstreet.com and also on Facebook and on Instagram and everywhere. I mean, it's just too beautiful. Just looking at these, you'd want to make everything here. And I love the idea because Southern cooking, it just has that, I think of like the chicken and the waffles, and I don't know. I mean, how do you do chicken and waffles veg-friendly? I mean, how do you...
Well, we're gonna figure that out.
There's a good recipe for the waffle in there, that's for sure.
You've got waffles in the cookbook. And how do you two work together? I mean, what are your roles in the cooking and the recipes? And I love the beginning about how you love to go to the markets. I can only imagine the two of you while you're traveling. Talk about how that dynamic works.
I mean, we love to travel. Like some people spend money in cars and clothes and stuff, and all we really want to do with our free time is get out and see the world and try to eat our way through it. And I think it's just like the best, shared interest that we have, and it literally translates to everywhere we want to visit. Of course, we love fine dining, and we love to see what's going on in all the top cities and see what the industry trends are. But really what we've discovered in recent years and what put forth V Street and this book is this idea of like connecting with the everyday people and just seeing what fuels them on a daily basis. Because when you go out for fine dining, that's a celebration, but you really get to know the people by seeing like, well, what do they exist on every day? People that are going out for a quick lunch, like what is their go-to? So we had so much fun over the years just like exploring different food cultures. We talk heavily about the time we spent in Hong Kong and in Tokyo and in Seoul, just as much as we've seen of Asia or time we spent in the Caribbean, just sort of like asking, hey, to the taxi driver, like, where should we eat? Where do you like to go? Saying to, somebody at a hotel, say, okay, so yeah, we want to go here to celebrate something fancy, but like, what should we have for lunch the next day? And it's just amazing not only the differences, but some of the common themes. And part of this book shows you like the different markets. And we realized as we were sort of assembling our list that some were so different, but others have some common threads. I think cumin came up a lot, cilantro, scallions. It's kind of cool to think about, our sameness and difference across the globe.
Well, I love the way it begins here with shopping the markets, and you've got the Indian market, the Mexican, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Thai, Caribbean, and like you say, the commonality of the spices or the ingredients, and you have also 20 top ingredients. Are those things that you would always have in your home to cook, or the restaurants have?
We do, and we definitely have them in the restaurants. I think what we were trying to do is kind of go not only with the whole globe hopping theme that we're putting forth, but also to let people know that in this, kind of vegan umbrella, there are some staple things. So it's a combination of like cool ethnic ingredients that you'll want to, find, but then also a couple, kind of cornerstones of our pantry that we rely on a daily basis. Things that, you can find pretty easily. You just need to know to look for them.
Yeah, and I know that I was reading in here too that some of these things, they're they're readily available. We can go online and all of that. I mean, nothing beats really hunting it down, And so when there's a potluck and you guys are invited, you must be like the most coveted guests ever.
Well, believe it or not, we don't get invited to a lot of potlucks, but
oh my goodness, I would be like, Rich and Kate. What can they bring? I know. I mean, it's crazy. Look, when you're doing this and you're in the restaurant business and cook, I mean, don't you live it? And it sounds like you take a lot of time also to travel and enhance all of these experiences and bring them back to your cooking and to your wonderful fan base. I can only imagine. It's a really intense work environment.
Yes.
It is, but we thrive on that, and that's what drives us. We really, it's a very stimulating thing to be able to get in there the next day and just do it all over again and do it right. And there's this whole kind of myth about cooking, and in our business that that you hit this level and it's sustainable, and you plateau, and and you've earned some information at the end of each day. But you really haven't. You have to recreate this experience every single day all over again. And when a musician records an album or a CD or MP3 file, I guess these days. It's
when they're
done.
doing their music thing, yep.
When they're doing their music thing, it's done. It's recorded. It's set. You have to cook the same dish every time, so it's a very intense environment, and you have to love it. And I tell people that getting into this, if you don't love it, just run as fast and far as you can from this business. It's not for everybody, but if you do love it and you think you could be good at it, it's so rewarding. I mean,
I can hear it.
So great.
I can hear the enthusiasm in your voice and reading the book and looking at the photography and just the website. And you can visit vstreetfood.com, visit vstreetfood on Instagram and the Facebook page, and check this out. This cookbook is gorgeous. It's just out. There's nothing like a cookbook for a holiday gift or any gift.
Oh,
and
true.
I think that it is the best kind of gift. And this one I would pair with maybe put some of the ingredients or some of those top ingredients, some of those 20. And one of the other things I love too, and in the introduction, and you were talking about this, Kate, is meeting the older lady frying up in her sundress and flip-flops.
Totally.
I mean, the way you describe it's gorgeous, the messy, saucy sandwich that guy is eating from the foil wrapper. I can just imagine the sriracha dripping in some, because those messy foods are the best. And
so satisfying.
Yeah, I'll take that over the fancy dining anytime. I mean, really, it's wasted on me. I mean, just that picnic table environment with this, like, awesome food. And what are some of the misconceptions? I mean, I'm a vegetarian. I'm so tired of saying to people, it's not all tofu. I mean, what are some of the things that you share with people, or, I don't know, how do you sort of answer that? Or you probably don't get asked that anymore, but recipes and the combinations are limitless. You must check out this cookbook. You will want to cook each and everything, or just head on over to V Street. Are these all on your menu, or these are not all on your menu? They couldn't be, but
I would say that all of them have. Nearly every single one has been on the menu at some point. So whether it was something that we were like on our opening menu or something that's currently on the menu, it may be something that we tried for happy hour. It may be something we did for a special event. But, we were just, your question sort of about, what are their preconceived notions? And I think some people might think that we feel limited or stifled. But, I'll look at a chef who focuses on, like Mexican cuisine, or who is working with Italian ingredients. And I'm like, well, they are kind of limited.
Sure.
They have these limitations, not just with their ingredients, but their techniques. Something would be really bizarre if they all of a sudden inserted like shishito peppers into something, or they wanted to work with, sriracha or something. So for us, I feel like we really have an infinite realm of possibility to play with. And I don't know, I think we tried to test these recipes really carefully, and what you'll find across the board is there's a lot of diversity, but it's all coming from the same culinary training. You know, like our flavor profiles, our intention to get like really good balanced flavors and good textures that work together on a single plate. So we wanted it to reflect what we're doing at the restaurant. We also wanted it to work really well for cooks in their own homes. Whether they're super experienced or they're kind of new to cooking, we tried to make a book that would be a big success for people.
Well, it looks very doable to me, and I'm actually imagining redoing the Thanksgiving menu. So a lot of us are vegetarians, so we always have this discussion, and I think it should be about, what you're happy eating and not so holiday focused. Although, what would you recommend for a vegan Thanksgiving? Like, what are some of the things that you would serve?
Well, we always tell people to start to move the vegetables to the center of the table. Mm-hmm. It's a mindset that's how it all begins. Stop thinking that you need to have a giant animal carcass in the middle of the table that's going to define Thanksgiving, because there's really no point. There's no point historically where turkeys were really the signature item of Thanksgiving, and yet they've become the icon, and it's almost become cartoonish how turkeys are the national emblem of this holiday. It really has nothing to do with that. It's about the harvest, but most of all, it's about giving thanks. Yeah. That we have food on our table. So I don't see where turkeys really need to play a place in that. So we tell people, at Thanksgiving you're thinking vegetables are all your sides. Well, start to make them the main focus. And in your mind, maybe get some really big vegetables in the center of the table, like a giant butternut squash that you've roasted, hollowed out, and stuffed. Big, juicy, meaty portobello mushrooms, maybe a whole eggplant split in half, grilled or finished under the broiler so it gets all kind of gooey and crispy on top. Big vegetables in the middle of the table kind of take the place. It makes it the centerpiece. And then you can still make your vegetable sides that surround that. So it's a beautiful time of year to be eating.
I'm coming to your house.
All the harvest. Okay.
I love that idea, and also that idea of these large, and they're gorgeous. There is your centerpiece. The carrot.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous! The carrot asado. Here, this looks so.
So
sure,
yeah.
you can roast those carrots whole and let the carrots be the centerpiece of your table. But also don't be afraid of some vegan proteins as well. Tofu, tempeh, seitan. They're not mock meats. These are beautiful ancient products. Full of protein. If you do want to go the mock meat roll, just do that. Get some fake turkey, get some fake chicken. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But vegan Thanksgiving is just a beautiful way to celebrate. Lots of color though, and that's really important as well. I always said Thanksgiving it's ugly food. It's usually brown, bubbly gravies and casseroles. Yeah. Everything's brown. Add color to your table. Fresh herbs. Tomatoes, peppers, colorful squashes. Make it a beautiful rainbow on the table.
It is so beautiful. And you said something so interesting about the tofu, tempeh, seitan standing on its own. I have a thing when I'm out and they call it like fake whatever or these weird names, because why do they do that sometimes? I don't want to have mock chicken or whatever. I don't even want to see those words in my food.
Yeah.
What is that? Just need to sort of connect it in a way to something people know? Is that
I think that's exactly right. I think that, we've been doing this for a while, and I think even our approach has shifted over time. We have worked with those proteins Rich mentioned, like we're really well known for our seitan, for our tofu, and for our tempeh. But we've leaned on them less and less over the years just because people are more willing to embrace the idea of vegetables making up a significant or all of their plate. But yeah, it's true that many people are still rooted in a traditional kind of meat and potatoes, maybe with a vegetable, maybe with a sauce, kind of like traditional approach to dining. And so, for a lot of people who grew up eating meat, who are either like fully vegetarian or they're kind of leaning that way, they still crave things. They'll still crave a bacon double cheeseburger. Or like
well, I've said something. Yeah, I don't know what I've had where I've said, oh, this reminds me of so and so, and they, I've been told Wow, it's been a long time since you've had. If you think this tastes like, I don't know, whatever, bacon, it has been a long time. Oh my God, these scallion pancakes with citrus ponzu. This, I know. I feel like tell me about each and every one of these delicious items here in your cookbook, because it would be just amazing to hear about all of them from your perspective. The tofu and so what are your favorites? Like, which are your favorites of that tofu seitan? Or
out of the big three vegan proteins, I'm a huge tofu fan. I eat tofu almost every day of my life. And I absolutely crave this stuff. Ironically, I hated it when I first started cooking. I wouldn't go near the stuff. I said, that is the evil icon of vegetarianism. Most people have had it prepared very poorly in a Chinese restaurant somewhere. They think it tastes like a pencil eraser. It's this jiggly kind of nothingness. I wouldn't touch it, but it's delicious when you know how to cook it right. And I think I really took a lot of time to develop a series of methods and cooking preparations that make it so, like, not just delicious, but craveable, like stuff you can't stop thinking about. So I love it, and I eat it all the time. And I've really grown to like tempeh. That tempeh took me a long, long time to like.
Yeah, so what are some of the tricks with that? Because the tempeh, almost when you buy it, it almost seems sort of cooked or sort of done. And also same with tofu. Is it like getting the water out of it? Or because I'm looking at this piri-piri, I don't know if I'm saying anything right, tofu on the grill. Oh, my God, this looks sick. Like, I totally wish I could get in the car and come to Philly right now and get this.
Well, if you go to our recipe for the tempeh tacos, they're basically blanched first. We make this kind of aromatic stock, and then we open up the tempeh. It just takes 2 or 3 minutes, and you blanch them. And basically, it opens them up and kind of softens them just a little bit and makes them tender. And then they're ready to bread. So that's a big trick with tempeh. You can also roast tempeh first. If you coat it in spices and seasonings, and then just roast it really low and slow for like 20 minutes, it gets really like thick and cheesy and delicious. So that's one secret to those to making tempeh. And then tofu, I think you really just have to cook first. You have to cook it twice. Sear it first, bake it first, grill it first, then let it cool completely in your refrigerator. Then bring it out and do it again. Either, again, grill it again or sear it again, whatever it is. But that takes out the moisture and sets the texture. And that's what's so important with tofu, to get that kind of egginess out of the middle.
That's really good.
If you want to skip a step in the book, we mentioned like sometimes you can buy these sort of like pre-roasted. They're kind of set up with a seasonal theme, like something might be a little bit like Italian marinade on it, or something like a lemongrass braised tofu. A lot of different companies make these, and I think that that's a great at-home tip to go ahead and get something like that. You're not just starting with the fresh tofu and worrying about the water and all that, but they sort of took that first step for you, and then you can kind of like throw it right into whatever it is. If you want to slice it down or dice it and put it into a soup or on top of a salad, it's a good time saver.
Oh, that is a good, time savers are so important. And
right? I know.
Yeah, they are so important. And speaking of time savers, because of course that makes me think of children and family, I know your son is standing by because I wanted to speak to Rio and just get his take, and he's a really good sport. So if he's ready, I have real hard-hitting questions for Rio. Yeah.
I think he's ready. Hey, Rio, you want to have fun?
Hi.
Rio, thank you so much for appearing on Reading with Robin. I'm so happy to have you as a guest. What grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade.
You are in 3rd grade. So what do you bring to school for lunch? What's like some of your favorite foods that your parents prepare? Isn't this a gorgeous cookbook?
Yeah. So the things I have for lunch are, my dad usually packs me like one main course, which is usually a sandwich, like a peanut butter and jelly or something. Also, he gives me like some sort of veggie, so maybe like red pepper or celery. And then he gives me just like a balancing out snack, so maybe like some pretzels or chips.
Sounds great. Do other kids want to like share your lunch because yours looks so much better than theirs?
I'm actually not sure. I think they're pretty happy with their lunch. I'm pretty sure everybody's happy with their lunch, but most important thing, I'm happy with my lunch.
You are adorable. That is the most important thing. And do you like to help cook? Do you like to make up recipes? Or what are some of the fun things you like to do around the food?
Yeah, well, we have this thing called Salad Bar Night, and it's on Mondays. And we, make our own salad and stuff. And I love helping out with, I get my knife ready, and I like to chop up some of the vegetables for them and stuff. Yeah.
I think that's great. I love that idea of salad bar night. I actually used to do that when the kids were younger and put things in different bowls. It's like a fun way to be creative, and then everybody, nobody says, why are there tomatoes in mine, or I don't like mushrooms, and, that kind of thing. That's fun. Are there any other kind of special nights you like, or like what's a favorite other activity around food, or do you like going to the markets? Do you like going to like the farmers markets and that kind of stuff?
Well, first of all, one of my favorite markets is actually it's like a Korean place, and they sell my favorite sushi. And the guy who sells the sushi, he actually we're kind of friends, and he gave me like He gave me free 2 more avocado rolls, which is like 6 little of those sushi things. And he also once gave me a cone, like a nori cone with rice and avocado.
He is a good friend. Does he like show you how to make it? Did you ever try and make it yourself?
I imagine it would probably be pretty hard to make because like wrapping nori in a triangle.
I know it's messy, and have you ever you've watched them? I'm sure where they bend it on that bamboo. You just sound like the kind of kid that could really manage to do that really well. I love your take on that. You are a great guest.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope I get to meet you when I come to Philadelphia.
I hope you will.
I hope so, too. Thank you so much for appearing on the show. I really appreciate it. This was a huge treat. Unexpected, huge
he knows
treat.
His stuff.
Oh, my God. He is so adorable. I just love he's just so sure of himself, and so, I mean, he must be so entertaining. I could just...
Well, he grew up in a food family. I mean, we basically, we've had the restaurants, and he knows, he was there when we built Veg. He was there when we built V Street. He was there when we were working on the cookbook, and he gets it. He understands that these boxes of produce come into this restaurant, and they're prepared and consumed, and he sees that beautiful process, and he gets it. He understands where the food comes from and what he likes, and the whole process. It's just a great thing.
Well, it integrates also when a family works together and the kids are just part of everything, and it's just there's really no delineation between work, play, family. It's just all lovingly integrated. They just grow up with such a sense of themselves and where they all connect, where everybody really connects and comes together about, what else than, food, if that's not the greatest connector. But I love his friend with the sushi, and then he's a great storyteller. I could see a cookbook in his future. Absolutely. Right?
That would be wonderful. I could see that as well, yeah.
I could totally see that. Now, this V Street sauce, this looks so fabulous. How did it?
Oh, the hot sauce, sure.
Yeah, is this your own? This is your own special blend. And I again love the stories that go with each and every recipe. Your stamp is on it so clearly. And I haven't been to your place yet, as we know, because I want to go. Is that I can, just get your essence from reading this cookbook, obviously getting to speak to you. But if we hadn't had the pleasure, just in reading the cookbook, I could really get a sense of how much heart and soul is poured into all of the food and the storytelling.
Oh, sure. And, that hot sauce, Kate and I love hot sauce. It's the thing we bring home the most from wherever we are. And, it's amazing how different hot sauces are in different places in the world. But we love spicy food, but there's nothing better than when you're eating street food and you sit down and there's a bottle of hot sauce on the table. There's just something like poetic and romantic about it, just to have that bottle of hot sauce that you can put on yourself. So that's why we developed our own, we call it street sauce. We actually have several at the restaurant that we do, but this one V Street hot sauce pretty much goes with everything, which was no easy feat since it is a kind of globe-hopping menu.
Yeah.
So it's really delicious. It's definitely got some heat to it. But you can, adjust that up or down depending on what kind of chilies you want to use. You can even put just red bell pepper in it and have like a really mild, just kind of tangy sauce without too much heat in there as well. But, all the recipes in the book are very approachable. The beauty of this book is that, I don't know if we could have written this 10 years ago or 15 years ago. The Internet and, being able to get some of these ingredients online has been key to this because not everybody has these great Asian markets in their neighborhood. Even down here, we don't. We live in a huge, one of the biggest cities in the country, and some of these ingredients are not that easy to get. So you order them online, and they're great. They're they're no truffles or saffron anywhere on the menu. They're all pretty affordable. And once you have these things, these vinegars and some of these spices, of course they don't last forever, but they're not going to go bad on you overnight. You can keep them for a while. They become a part of your cooking repertoire, part of your pantry.
Well, and I love that you have it because it's really nice to know what the basics are. If you have these things, other ones you can order. I've been looking through these recipes, incredibly doable. I mean, I can see, and then the pictures are so gorgeous, so you can get the sense of what it should look like, and then you sort of you can put your own spin on it also. Do you sell any of these? Like, do you have the street sauce for sale, or can you go to the website and order
Not
it?
yet. We have that's on our to-do list, which is a very large list, by the way.
I can only imagine. My to-do list. Thinking, even just looking at this, my to-do list for you guys would be like dizzying because I could see just your brand is just so strong, and I just feel so connected to it, and so I can only imagine what you to do. Give Rio a few of those jobs while he's got his little knife out. He's wielding his little knife. Give him a few jobs. And that's the thing. This is a gorgeous cookbook. It's just a whole beautiful presentation. People are always looking for new things to try, and I really think that whether you're vegetarian or vegan, not whatever, there's something here for everybody. And to me, this is the universal food.
Exactly.
This is to me, this is, I don't know if that makes sense. To me, this is where it all starts, and this is just, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with next. And it's Rich Landau, Kate Jacoby, and their fabulous son Rio, and it's V Street, 100 globe-hopping plates on the cutting edge of vegetable cooking. Go to their website, vstreetfood.com. Visit them on. Do you love Instagram? Who handles the Instagram, or is it?
Oh, we both do.
We all kind of chip in, yeah.
I love Instagram is awesome, and it's a great way to find out.
Fun.
Yeah, new places, and also on Facebook at V Street. And I hope to meet you guys in Philly or have you here in Rhode Island, whoever gets there first.
One or the other. Yes, definitely.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys, and all the best with this gorgeous book. And again, put it on your list, and if you're looking for holiday gifts, look no further. V Street. Got to have this book.